Hi, Flosstube. Back again after only 3 weeks. Happy Maynia Eve. Yeah, it is Friday. I'm sorry, it's not Friday. That's tomorrow. It's Thursday, April 30th, 2020. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Julia, also known as Julicious. I make periodic videos about cross-stitching and knitting and books and life, occasionally politics, hence the low subscriber count, but I'm good with it. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for choosing to spend time with me. I really appreciate you. How's everyone doing? Holding up? Yeah. I'm feeling kind of out of sorts and just generally achy and blah today. Just the weather and my joints don't always get along. And in Philadelphia, we've been having a lot of barometric pressure changes over the past week and a half. I don't know if anyone can relate. It's an achy day, so sweatshirt and hot drink. So I want to talk Maynia plans. My Maynia plans are not that exciting. But I am participating, and I wanted to give a few updates on some things. Knitting had not been successful the last time we spoke. Knitting is now quite successful. And I have some sewing to show you. So a couple of things. Thanks to everyone who, regarding Holy Night, the Christmas cross stitch I did, thanks to everyone who was like, that's not a Bible verse, that's a lyric from a Christmas carol called Oh Holy Night, which I actually tracked down a recording of and listened to, and that's a really beautiful song. Like, I think just because, you know, being a Jewish American who lives, you know, in America, most of the Christmas songs that assault my ear holes are not that nice to listen to. And honestly, someone needs to have a serious talk about whoever sings Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree about what the verb to rock actually means. But that is a rant for another time. Anyway, that's a pretty song. I wouldn't mind listening to Christmas carols that were that pretty during, you know, the month of December where I can't go anywhere without there being Christmas. Again, welcome to America when you don't celebrate Christmas. You have to celebrate Christmas anyway. That's how it feels. That's not your fault. That's corporations' fault. I'm not attacking you. If you're offended, please don't be. I'm sorry. Oh God. Anyway, so anyway, thanks for that. Really pretty song. And I've got my computer up behind you with the comment section from the last video. Where are you, friend? Jennifer Brown. Jennifer Brown and I watched the same exact Lindy Stitches video, and I don't know where my brain was, because Jennifer, you suggested that I make like a roll out of the Christmas thing to send along, kind of like sewing a pillow with no stuffing, and then you put a ribbon and the button in the back, I guess for easy storage. I'm gonna do that. And I ordered, like, as soon as I saw I commented right away as soon as I saw it. And then I went to 123 Stitch and I ordered some fabric, but 123 Stitch and the US Postal Service have been having some sort of, I don't know, the package isn't here yet. I have a tracking number. I've been watching it move across the I've been watching the package move across eastern Pennsylvania for like 3 weeks. Hopefully it'll be here this week. I'm not blaming anyone. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm just happy I was able to order something. But thank you, Jennifer. I'm going to do that. Likewise, Calico suggested I make a no-sew cube out of the teacher gift, and I think I'm probably going to do that. My only concern is the foam I have. I don't know that the base is wide enough. Like, I don't know if it's fat enough. Trying to find something vaguely box-like to hold up so I can tell you what dimension I'm talking. How about some markers? So you've got, like, pretend this is a no-sew cube. I'm not entirely sure that it's fat enough this way that it'll stand up on its own. That's the only concern I have. But my mind is moving in that direction. Giving me a great shot up my nose there, sorry. What else? What should I do at the moment? How about knitting? So I was having trouble making my fingers work when I was knitting this cowl that was designed by the lovely and talented Ann P. over at Fiber Floss and Fiction. She owns a yarn dyeing business, and she is a designer, and her business name is called Woolly Wonka Fibers. If you are unfamiliar and you are interested, I highly suggest you get familiar. So I am knitting her Sylvatica cowl, and I am knitting it in some of her yarn. This is, I believe, Eriton sock. Is it Eriton sock? It's her silk and merino. I think it might be. I don't think it's Eriton. It's the silk merino blend. The colorway is called Grey Goose. And the last time you saw it, you saw some really pretty lace and a giant hole. So it was in timeout for a little while, and then earlier this week I put in a lifeline to and ripped back to that and put the needle back on, and knit and knit and knit, and now the entire first lace panel is done, and I am working on this sort of like wrapped stitch section. So here it is, and it is a heck of a lot of fun. The thing about lace is it's really hard to appreciate it unless you're the one knitting it, or unless it is blocked, and it's, you know, it's been blocked and stretched a bit so you can actually see the pattern nicely, especially on video. But yeah, so the first, the twisted ribbing is done at the bottom, the first lace panel is done, and I'm working on this kind of wrapped stitch section. So it's no longer a tragedy. I'm enjoying myself very much. Again, the mishaps had nothing to do with Anne and everything to do with me. So that's fun. Who's that for? I don't know. We'll see. And last time we spoke, I was waiting for some yarn from, what is her name? Oh crap, I forget her first name. The owner and chief messmaker over at I Feel Like Dying, spelled D-Y-E-I-N-G. Had recently had a shop update, and one of the things I ordered was this skein of sock yarn called Blueberry Scone, because I'm obsessed with speckle dyes lately. I don't know what it is about them. I'm just really digging them. And I decided that this would look nice paired with a sock pattern called Jangles Socks by Lori Law, just because I really like Lori Law's patterns. And the construction of this sock is really, really cool. And so I was knitting the, I'm knitting the smallest size, which I wasn't sure who I was going to give it to, because it's only written for casting on 60 stitches and then casting on 72, I think. 60 stitches is a little too small for my foot. 72 is entirely too large. So you know, whatever. So I'm knitting along, just enjoying the process and enjoying the yarn. It's beautiful to knit with, by the way. I love it. And my daughter came walking by and said, "Is that for me?" So apparently, yes, they're now for her. My child is growing. So I don't have exact measurements for you, because once we determined that it would fit around her leg pretty perfectly, I would just knit the foot and periodically just shove the half knit sock on her foot, and measured when to start decreasing that way. So these are Amelia sized, but I have the first one done and I love it. Love it. Look how the yarn, just the speckle, that I just can't get enough. So I'm going to geek out about the heel construction because I can. And I'm sorry, not really. So it's unusual to find a sock pattern that when you get to the heel, you continue working in the round. Usually you divide, you get to where the heel's going to be. You divide the number of stitches total in half, and then you work the heel on half the yarn, half the stitches. And when you're done with the heel, join everything together and continue knitting around and around. Not so with these socks. Can't really tell by the way they are in the sock blockers. So you knit to here, and then here and here you increase. You're knitting in the round, but at this point and at this point you increase. So the heel is made by slowly increasing to about here, and then you knit back and forth just this little bit to turn the heel, and then continue knitting and decreasing. So the heel is, the entire sock is knit around and around and around, and the heel is just constructed with, as you're knitting around and around, a series of increases and decreases. And I don't think I'm explaining it correctly, but if I had the pattern in front of me and a bunch of other knitters, I think we could geek out for about an hour or so, because it's that cool. Anyway, so I am going to, at some point this evening, cast on for the mate to this, because everyone knows you need to cast on your second sock ASAP or it's not going to happen. That's knitting. I did, because I am weak and I couldn't help myself. I really don't think you can blame me. I did cast on strutting tom. Not cast on. I did start strutting tom. Because I was having some bad mental health days, and I needed to. It was a self-care new start. And here's where we are so far. So his tail feathers are going to start coming out this way. His little head and neck are going to be up around here, and his feet are going to be down here somewhere. So, what I did is I started in the middle here and just kind of counted up a bit to here. used up that entire thread because it's hand dyed, and I really wanted to do that rusty orange floss because that's, you know, a favorite. So I did that, and then I've been doing this silvery bit. Really enjoying that. This is my first, it's not the first Lindy Stitches pattern I've owned. It's the first one I've ever stitched, and I'm enjoying it. And as you remember from last time, I bought this as a kit from Trisha at 3 All Threads. I don't know if she has any left, but they were under $30, and I would highly recommend that if you love this and you love the way it's finished, you pop on over to her Etsy shop just to see. But yeah, loving that. What else? Not much. So let's talk about my Stitch Maynia plans as they are. They're kind of more Stitch Sania plans than Stitch Maynia plans in that I only have one new start in the pipeline for sure. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be going gangbusters on an old whip that just needs to get done because I'm tired of thinking about it and I don't love it anymore, and I just want to have it finished and out of my universe. And it's kind of sad because I remember I started this for Stitch Maynia like 3 years ago. And was so excited. And I just, you know, I mean, you know, tastes change. But I just, it's not me anymore. So this was from Heaven and Earth Designs. It's Quick Stitch Ladybug. And I'm stitching this 2/1 tent stitch on a 25 count Lugana that I got from Jodari Designs. It was a limited edition like 3 years ago. The colorway is called Elven Wood. And I'm probably about 2/3 done, not quite 2/3 done. I think given that the semester is coming to a close and we are not having summer session, which starts in mid-May, so that given that I won't be going from one intensive nursing class to another intensive nursing class, I should be able to finish this. So there we are. That is a pretty cool effect, isn't it? I dig it. Not going to keep it. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I dig it. But it needs to get done. So who inspired me to do this? Someone was stitching this, but it might have been Orietta. Orietta had been stitching on this years ago. So that's my Stitch Maynia, Stitch Sania project. When that is done, I plan to finally start Starry Night Sampler by the City Stitcher. I'm doing sort of a conversion to color and cotton threads, and I had kind of, I'm not very good at it, and I was having, I've been stuck. I have some colors pulled, but I've been stuck and just, I didn't know what I wanted to do with the middle part, and so it was partially kitted up and tucked away in a project bag, and then last week before, recently. Olivia B showed her finish of this, in which it's her tribute to Tom Petty. And so she had a song lyric and his birth and death date, and just had converted this to say Tom Petty. And I thought, oh, that looks gorgeous and it's brilliant. And I had this light bulb moment. And I thought, Carl Sagan will fit in here. I might have to jiggle things a little bit, but Carl Sagan will fit in here. And I'm probably going to have to do a really trite Carl Sagan quote, because his favorite ones of mine just won't fit in this little space, but I think it's going to be "We are made of star stuff." So that renewed my interest in that. And it's going to be stitched on a 36 count linen from Color and Cotton called Nightshade. Mostly true to life. It's a little bit darker. And some of the threads that I have pulled, just kind of matching things up with the DMC. These Color and Cotton threads. Obviously, I don't have all of them. Like, I don't know what I'm doing about the flowers or the house. But I think I'm going to try and stick, because it's all charted in DMC, so I'm going to try to stick pretty close to the charted colors. Perhaps the exception of the birds. I feel like I kind of want to change them up a little bit. That might actually be what this blue is. Yeah, I think this is going to be the birds. This is Serpentine. Maybe. I don't know. We shall see. But that is enough to get me at least started. I'm not going to make a huge amount of progress on this chart, and that's okay. I just wanted to get it going, and now I have an idea. So, and that lives in a Momily bag that Emily C made for me. Well, she didn't make it for me. I bought it. But yeah, this is my favorite project bag for cross stitching. My favorite knitting project bag is the Frida Kahlo fabric ones that my friend I made for me, that I'm sure you've seen around. Okay, I think we're almost done, except for sewing and some new yarn. Sewing. So, Misty Pursel at Luminous Fiber Arts. For those of you who don't know, Misty lives in my hometown, the town where I grew up and lived for some of my adult life. Misty and I have probably breathed the same oxygen a few times because we frequented the same yarn shop called Stitch Your Art Out outside of State College, Pennsylvania, in the little town of Pine Grove Mills, Pennsylvania. And Cynthia, the owner-operator of Stitch Your Art Out, is taking online orders right now. And one of the things she is selling, in addition to yarn and quilting fabric, because it's a knitting, it's a yarn and quilt shop. And one of the things she is doing is she is selling face mask kits. She has a free pattern for face masks, and she's selling kits so you get 2 pieces of fabric for the mask itself, like one that's outward facing and one that's inward facing, with a piece of cut interfacing to go with 2 strips of fabric for the ties. And you can download from her website, you can download the pattern for free. I am not a good sewer. I used to be okay. I'm now very rusty. But I bought some kits because you have to support the local, you have to support small business, and you have to support the hometown folks. So I finished a mask last night. I decided to do mine first because Josh goes outside more often than I do. And I wanted to have one done and maybe not have it not as good. And that would be for me, since I don't leave the house that often. But so my kit came, I chose one with this awesome sheep fabric, and I should have ordered some more of just this fabric. I don't know why I didn't. Probably because I'm not a sewer. Sewing is not necessarily a rabbit hole I want to tumble down. Like I love quilts, but I will not ever take a quilting class because I know that I will just tumble down that rabbit hole and never come out. I know this about myself. But I love that fabric. I want a bag or something out of that fabric, and I should have bought some more, but I didn't. Oh well. So it came with, this is my front fabric. This batik fabric is on the inside. There's iron-on interfacing in between. And then this came with red polka dot fabric for the ties. And I mean, not perfect, but it fits pretty well. It does what it's supposed to do. Whoa! So I ordered that for me. One moment while I retrieve my glasses. Amelia decided she wanted the fabric that has equations on. And that's the fabric that comes with it. And for Josh, I got this fabric that has old airplane blueprints on it. And that's the fabric that comes with that. So I just have to get the ties ready for these and then do the folding to make this actually look like it fits the contours of the face. These sew up really quickly once you figure out what you're doing. So I'm going to link the shop, Cynthia's shop, Stitch Your Art, out below if you are interested. They're under $5. They are per kit. And you know, browse some yarn if you're into that, or if you're generally, you know, if you're into quilting or fabric stuff in general, you know, browse the fabric. So, and if you're watching this and you happen to live within driving distance of there, she offers free pickup if you want to order and arrange to pick it up. So that was my fun sewing adventure. And because I couldn't just order some kits, and I hadn't, like, that used to be my place. That used to be my yarn shop where I shopped when I lived there. So I had to bring some yarn with me, and so I chose to, what is this, Malabrigo Rios, which is a worsted weight yarn, and I thought that these together I could do some color work, maybe a Fair Isle hat, maybe 2 Fair Isle hats, one with this is the main color, one with this is the main color. So this one is just called Ivory, and this one is called Liquid Amber. So I think that's all I have. I just wanted to come on really quickly and give you a Maynia update and let you know that knitting is not a catastrophe, and that I took a couple of you under advisement as far as fully finishing some things. So if you're participating Maynia, I hope it's great. I'm going to be watching. Can't wait to see what you all come up with. If you're not participating in Maynia, I hope whatever you choose to do, crafter-wise or otherwise, it brings you some peace. Continue plugging along, folks. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll catch you around the internet, okay? Take care.